Unmute, click change scene. Bam, here we are. Hello and welcome to Monday Night Friendos. You have a Professor Jimbles 4 Pillars of Eternity. That's enough of that voice, I'd say. To be honest, I think we're good. Maybe the microphone's a little loud, maybe I'm talking a little loud, maybe we're all just having a very good night and I want to share that with everyone. Who knows? That's a little better. I can sit back so you can even see my face. I'm pretty excited to have a Pillars of Eternity. I mean, the last stream session we had was Saturday morning, and it must have been a hell of a surprise to see a Jimbles, not only in the morning, but on the weekend. And, fuck, I was tired. Check out the VOD. It is particularly interesting. I actually quite enjoyed having a study stream where I go through my university courses, showed off the online learning platform, and then, like, read for an hour and a half to 2 hours straight. A couple of breaks, sure, short breaks, but I was very happy to just like read through my course material and show you what I'm doing and try and make it make sense as much as possible. Now, a couple of people have asked, so do you think it's more efficient, or are you going to learn appropriately? Are you going to do it again? I'm like, well, first off, is it more efficient? I don't know yet. Was it fun? Absolutely. Do I feel like I understand the things better? Yeah, I think so. We'll see if it comes back in a little while. Perhaps when I'm writing my essays, well, I think about it and go, yes, I remember these concepts better because I read them out loud to a crowd of people who are going to react to them. Maybe. I hope so. That's for sure. And then, like, I had to miss Wednesday night, which was a shame. And I would have announced the study stream even earlier, except again, I was missed Wednesday night. I was just weirdly sick, you know? Finished work at 5, fell asleep till about 8:30, got up, read a little bit of a comic, had a little bit of stuff to eat, and then immediately went back to sleep until the next morning. Gone. Missed the whole day. And I hate it when that happens. It just feels terrible to lose that amount of time. I don't know. What more can you do? At least it was a one-day illness instead of multiple, right? Still. And like, there's no real good way to get word. Actually, there is a good way to get word out to all of you lovely viewers, people in VODs, people live, all that sort of thing, and it's Twitter. Because Twitter is quick and easy to get information out and then reverberate back to. Until I set up my own Discord server because I want to do this properly, like an actual streamer, build a community, that sort of thing, send all of my terrible memes in that location, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, it's Twitter. You gotta follow me on Twitter, man. You can get VODs there as well. Socials, I believe, are commanders. Maybe it's just social. Come on, Nightbot, help me out. There you go. And that's where you can find me on Twitter. Now, everyone in the VODs, you won't be able to click the link because you're not on Twitch, and that's on YouTube. But you can type it in and find me there. And that's where you get updates and shitposts. And if you go to my liked tab, you'll absolutely find way too much porn. At least it's good. Promise. Anyway, I did want to say that I'm afraid this Saturday I'm not doing a study stream. While it was a lot of fun and I'd like to do it again soon, I have a commitment that Saturday morning, and while I will be studying because I've made a promise to not only myself but my friends and my family and my loved ones, I've also made a promise to the university that I would study for like a good solid chunk of time, so I will be doing that in the evening of Saturday. So we're not missing out on a study, you're just missing out on a study stream, okay? I will catch up the week after, because I don't believe there's anything going on then. Unless it's a friend's wedding? It can't be that close. Just whip out my calendar and see. One of the things I managed to not do on... Yeah, absolutely. The weekend after I am at a friend's wedding, so I won't be streaming the study session then either. Okay, the next one's on the 9th. But I will keep you updated. Don't worry, I'll tell you if I'm about to fail classes or courses or anything. I'll tell other people too, so I can desperately beg for assistance. Too much porn or a good amount of porn? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, what is your definition of enough? Is a decent way to put it. When I'm on Twitter and liking things that are way too horny, generally it's more like it's less I'm using this to get off and more I'm enjoying this art for art's sake. I'm enjoying this because of the shading. This is erotic and beautiful, but Yeah, let's not go into too much more detail on that, right? Gotta keep some sort of illusion, otherwise everyone will give up on the parasocial relationship immediately because they feel like they know everything. It's gotta be a two-way sharing street. Chat, tell me what you like to like on Twitter first. Look, I've had a good day so far, so maybe I'm a little more manic than normal. Hello, Captain. Yeah, meow. Are you gonna settle on the dog bed, or are you gonna jump on the table, huh? What do you think? Real? Alright, he's thinking about it. Meow. 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 Yeah. Hey, you're just listening to me talk to my cat. Perfect. He's settling on the dog bed. What a good cat. One or 2 days a week, if that, you log into Twitter, there is something you like directed. Yeah, exactly. I love that Twitter, if it thinks you don't follow enough people or there's not been enough content of people you like, it just suggests things at you. Sure hope you like this. Probably not. We're gonna try anyway. Right? Boop. There you go. Let's click live stream. Let's click continue. Let's click play Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. Huh? Let's have a good time together. I'm pretty sure this episode is primarily just going to be hanging about in wherever the fuck we are now. What the hell's it called? It's not Port Mahé. It's Dunnage. We're in Dunnage, which is a pirate stronghold, right? Because that's where all the pirates hang out. We're meeting all sorts of pirates. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I've already made a joke about a particular NPC we've met. And it was very funny. And you have to check the VODs to get a little context for why it was very funny. But that's okay. I did post to Twitter about why it's funny. But no. Okay, that's enough of that. So, there is an NPC here who's dancing. And she's like, yeah, I owe a debt to the owner of the bar. It sucks. It's over 700 pounds. It was 200 when we started, and they've just charged me more over time. I'm like, well, you know what's really funny? I'm going to hammer the give 1 copper button over and over and see what happens. Now, chat kind of lost their minds because it sounds awful. And I promised I'd never do it again, which is very fair. And then I did a quick search on the wiki, and it turns out that poor Tiana.
Welcome back, patron. I so hope you enjoy the performance.
Face bland with a bored expression, the wizard sighs heavily after speaking. A hand on her hip, she cocks her head as she waits for you to speak. Give 1 copper.
Oh, thank you, patron. I'll be debt-free in no time.
Anyway, if you give her 700 copper pounds, even though it should technically pay off her debt, it doesn't! Just a note in the trivia section, and that's fucking sad, isn't it? You can't pay her debt off that way. However, what was horrifying to chat? Hammering 3 over and over so that she says, oh, thank you, patron. However, I do know that there is another way to free her, and we will, don't worry. You find a lanky Blondel flipping through a book of Aderian poetry by the artist Skilba. His armor is well worn and well kept, and bears on its breast the image of a double-headed eagle holding a sword and crown. Looking more closely, you notice that with his free hand, he's picking a padlock.
Hello. May I help you?
He catches you looking and gives you a shy smile.
Need anything?
Tell me about yourself.
I'm not sure what there is to tell. I'm a man of adventure, mostly.
Almost certainly, Larksy. Have you had any that would make a good story?
A few.
He smiles.
More than I could share in a night, to be sure. There is one that's close to my heart. It led me to my love.
This guy's so cool. He is lockpicking with 1 hand. And he's smooth and funny. Go on. He nods, pleased.
I was on an expedition into the backwoods of Red Seras when I came across an abandoned town. To my great surprise, I found a tremendous hoard of books in the town priest's cottage.
What's surprising about that?
The Readserans are conservative folk, more so even than the adherents. They don't have much use for reading that doesn't come from one of the holy texts of the Church of Aethys. And what a selection of books it was. Every subject represented, even some questionable ones. I couldn't help but help myself to them. I took as many as I could carry, and I can carry quite a bit. Read them all cover to cover and learned a lot too.
What are we doing?
I tired soon of wandering, so I settled in a small town in the Deerwood and became a tutor for a noble family. Fell in love with the governess, naturally, and I stayed. For a while.
Hello, comrade. Honk honk. Like, I do want to ask what he was doing in that cottage. Probably nothing good. Then what?
Well,
He rubs the back of his neck and looks away a moment.
I felt a stirring in my bones one day. I can't explain it. I just woke up, caught sight of the horizon, and had to go.
I have a stirring in
I
bones
left my
some
lady
mornings.
wife right there in our marital bed.
Doesn't usually lead to me leaving my lady wife. He sighs deeply. A look of longing flits across his face, but he stifles it with a quick frown.
I don't know what's waiting for me out here in the dead fire. But I have hope this will be my biggest adventure yet.
Fluxy ridiculous. Why would they call it a boner? Can you teach me what you've learned in your travels?
Well, you listened to my long tale. I suppose you are owed a trick or two. For the low price of 3,000 copper.
Absolutely. Give me explosives and mechanics.
Much obliged.
He digs through his pack and pulls out several locks he's found in his travels. He proceeds to put you through your paces, timing how quickly you complete each lock and demanding you do it again, and faster still. Satisfied you've become a deft hand, he shows you how to build a small explosive with black powder, parchment, and twine. Once he's demonstrated you can create the explosive without getting yourself or anyone else blown up, he wishes you good luck and tells you to get going. That is a good stirring, I guess. But I haven't had late night McDonald's in some time. I don't know if I'm really missing anything.
God have mercy on me.
The booth is cozy and quiet, perfect for discreet dealings. Dunnage town person. Hunched on his hands and knees, quivering and drenched in sweat, the pirate lets out a pain-filled groan.
Lost my God's damn soul and stupidity. Andre, save me now.
What's wrong with you?
My ship was attacked and boarded by pirate hunters. Didn't know if we'd be able to get away, so I swallowed down my most valuable possession. Gutty's black tear. A gemstone, about the size of my fist. Of course now it ain't coming out of either end. Been trying all manner of foul concoctions to no effect on account of my stomach being too strong. Years of sailing the storm-wracked seas will do that to you. I started feeling an intense pain 2 days ago. I think I might be dying.
Buddy, this is awful.
I can't even crawl no more.
Now, I've had similar pains to this. It's fucking hell. What if I just punch you really hard in the stomach? That might get it out.
I think I ain't tried that. My stomach's all black and bruised, but a blasted gem's still stuck up me.
What can I do to help?
Make me puke. Whatever you gotta do, just make it happen before this cursed gem kills me. Give me something strong enough to upset even my iron gut.
Okay.
Rosanella's got a stand in the Radiant Court. She's been supplying me with some, experimental concoctions, tweaking them after. Tell her the last one actually came close to working.
It's a stone in part of the body where it shouldn't be. I think it's pretty close. I think... God, this is just awful. I feel for the poor bastard is all I'm saying. Cabin boy! Oh, more like a cabin man. Hello.
What do we have here?
A young man dressed in skin-tight leathers gives you a quick once-over. You must like what he sees because he smiles wide, his lips just parted.
How can I ease your troubles, friend?
What do you do here?
I surprise and delight the clientele.
He winks.
My speciality is oils. Full body rub-downs, right? Fit to leave you limber, clear-headed, and free of the stresses of hard living.
Perfect.
I got other skills, of course, should you be looking. And all for a measly 200 pyres.
I'd like to see your skills.
Right this way.
He takes you by the arm and leads you gently to a waiting table. Yes, exactly, comrade. An emetic isn't going to help, right? And that is unfortunate. Because it means there's very little we can do to actually help him. A blanket is stained with what you hope is dried ale.
My. Aren't you a handsome one?
An older woman looks you up and down and smiles, revealing several gold teeth.
Did you need help with something, my dear?
What do you do here?
Isn't it obvious? I entertain, of course.
She does a little shimmy and breaks off with a laugh.
It'll cost you 50 pyres, naturally. And don't let the wrinkles fool you. I'm still young at heart, and I've got more experience than most.
She chuckles. Yes, please, Rowena.
My pleasure.
Entertain me. My pleasure. She grins, showing off her golden teeth, and leads you to a couch. There's a sofa right there. The table is an intentional choice. The table is because he starts with a massage, right? If there are extra things you may require, he's good at that.
Hey there. Hey there.
Who's our rogue right
What do you
now?
need? Sure.
No one. No one has stealth. Okay, well, we're not stealing from here. Maybe Awena's got dibs on the sofa. Yeah, well. She deserves a lie down. It's been a long day for her. The wall is notched and scarred from countless knife throws that completely missed the target. What a lovely little tavern. We're getting the fuck out of here. Lifters Refuge is where you land. I want to go to the Radiant Court. So we can get Tree's whole chicken at the soft sofa. Exactly, right?
Are we gonna...
Plus, the cabin boy is going to be standing and working on you. Most of the time. Sometimes working underneath the table. There's a perfectly placed hole. Anyway. But Owena, she wants to lay down and entertain. So she does need something softer. And it's just fair.
I thought Juana didn't believe in personal property. Yet you've brought quite the assortment of leather necklaces.
Necklaces?
Kara, just so. But not all of them go around my neck.
In that case, perhaps give them from my sleeping berth.
Oh, it is no burden, my friend. You are free to borrow one.
Aloth, my friend. Do you not know a collar when you see one?
Vegetables, dried goods for long voyages. I got it all right here.
Hey, Burner.
What can I stock you up with today?
A lot of fruit. Here it is again. Buying ship supplies. If we buy all of the food in the area, then all of the pirates will starve. Probably not. And hey, we don't have an infinite amount of money. I keep spending it on trading. Hey, Rosanella.
So you're the captain the old pork's been talking about. Aye, you do look like a fearsome sort. Welcome to Dunnage.
She slaps a hand onto the bar top with a hearty sigh.
What are you having? I'll pour you a double.
Pietro sent me to you.
Ah, I guess the last concoction I made for him didn't do the trick then. Poor bastard.
It's closed?
There's one last tincture recipe I know that won't kill him. Probably. It's called Andra's Bile, but I don't have all the ingredients in stock.
Is one of them perhaps an unripened palm stone?
You'll need a rotten hagfish, an unripened palm stone, and a vial of fire kelp extract. Have him mix it all with a half tankard of grog, and well, hope for the best.
Hilariously, we have the rotten hagfish and an unripened palm stone. Recipe quest, exactly, Loxy. At least it's a fun one. Where can I find the ingredients?
Check the barrels around Lifter's Refuse for the rotten hagfish. You might be able to find unripened palmstone for sale somewhere in Radiant Court.
She pours a drink, but rather than passing it to a patron, she downs it herself.
Harker in the King's Coffin usually keeps some fire kelp extract on hand for special purposes. Be careful when dealing with that one.
Why do I need to get a rotten hagfish and not a regular hagfish?
The goal is to make him vomit, remember? A rotting hagfish produces a special oil once it reaches a certain level of decay.
Fun. Why didn't you try Andrus bile earlier?
I did tell you the list of ingredients, eh? He'll have stuff dribbling out of both ends for a week. Maybe two, if he's really unlucky.
What do you know about the floating hangman? Her eyes go wide, and as she fumbles out a bottle of spirits, spilling rum all over the counter.
No one survives the floating hangman. Or so they say. It's the ship of the dead. You spy it on the horizon, you flee as fast as you can.
I have no idea what we're talking about here. Rice wine! Ayo! Diabo de Osa. That'll do. There you go. Thanks for...
Looking for work. I've got coin and a few
Epsilon.
scores to settle.
Okay, show me Epsilon. Reduces recovery penalty for armor. That's good. And move more quickly in combat. Good work, kitty. Deciral.
You carry yourself like a person well acquainted with violence. Care to put your skills to use for a good cause? And some coin?
I love bounties. Tell me about... She dances a coin across her knuckles, mirth a bright glint in her eyes. Tell me about the cause you mentioned.
It's simple enough. The firebrand commanded by Captain Henqua once plagued the Deadfire. The skill and brutality of Henqua's crew was the stuff of legends.
Deciral flicks the coin she's holding and snatches it from the air with a grin. Up close, it's clearly a swollen A.
But pirate legends don't live long. Some months ago, an alliance of Neketaka pirate hunters managed to corner the firebrand and sink her off the coast of Tikawara.
Oh.
They confirmed Captain Henqua's death, but her senior crew members escaped unscathed. And now it seems like bringing the firebrand's crew to justice doesn't matter to anyone but me.
Even in the low light, you can see a vein throbbing at her temple. Her voice drops to a low growl.
So I want you to kill them. And I'll pay you out of my own pocket if you do.
Sounds like you got a grudge against the Firebrand's crew.
It's nothing personal. The crew earned their reputation through murder and thievery, and it would make me sick to see them regain an ounce of their power.
She tries for a nonchalant shrug, but it comes off looking like she's got a sore shoulder instead. Insight. As she speaks, Desiree removes a small swollen A from her pocket and polishes the surface with the corner of her shirt. Her features soften like she's visiting an old memory, and she stuffs the coin back in her pocket with a barely audible sigh. What's bothering you?
There's no need to make my concerns your own, my friend. It's family business, that's all. But I suppose you have a right to know.
This is a very detailed bounty quest. She pauses and slips a swollen A from her pocket again. It gleams golden in the low light.
My idiot kid sister was on the firebrand, seduced to a dishonest life by the promise of adventure. When the pirate hunters killed the crew and sank the ship, they also killed my sister.
Oh no.
But those irredeemable lowlifes I sent you after got away without a scrape. I want them to pay. I don't much care how, so long as they take that turn on the wheel.
I'll hunt down these pirates. Who am I looking for?
The firebrand had a mascot. A useless little bastard, who's taken to calling himself Lord Admiral Imp. He's not terribly dangerous on his own, but he's keen to make a nuisance of himself wherever he goes.
Do you think he's an actual imp? She rubs the bridge of her nose and sighs.
Last I heard, Lord Admiral Imp was making himself comfortable in Queen's Berth. You'll find him there with a few zarops and constructs, the little buggers convinced to follow him. Bless their simple hearts.
Who's next on your list?
You'll be taking down Lady Ipiro, Captain Henqua's former first mate and a rumored lover. She's a cipher, and a dangerous one at that.
Great.
Ipiro maintains an estate in Serpent's Crown in Neketaka. but I wouldn't recommend you rush in, muzzles blasting and swords held high. She keeps a number of bodyguards on her payroll.
She winks or smiles. I'll be careful. Who else am I after?
You'll be going after Katren, the Firebrand's resident wizard. Rumor has it, she was once an apprentice to Arkemir before turning pirate. Last I heard, Katren and her sundry little minions could be found lazing about the sacred stair here in Neketaka at night. No idea where she disappears off to during
Did
the
you catch
day.
that? I caught that. Your audio, and feel free to check this back on the VODs, everyone. The audio says it could be found lazing about the sacred stair here in Neketaka. So Desiderol is an NPC that potentially moved from one location to the other. I do know from game development, voice acting is usually one of the first steps in, well, not the first, but one of the earlier steps in game development. Who's the last target?
I have a challenge for you, my friend. And his name is Torkar, leader of the Firebrand's boarding parties. He's an ogre, with a reputation for cleverness and cruelty both. I've even heard tell it was Torkar who was behind the Firebrand's most successful tactics, not Henkwa. Torkar was last seen at Lifte's refuge here in Dunnage. Dead set on joining a crew, or assembling his own. I trust you won't let that happen.
She cocks one dark eyebrow in question. Farewell.
Happy hunting.
She nods and gives you a showy wink. Well, that's worth investigating at some point, hey? Stray dog. Stray dog named Hemp. 1 constitution and bonus to fortitude. What a good dog. Makes you strong.
Come here.
The shelf contains current navigational charts and bestiaries about various sea monsters a captain could encounter.
Welcome to my emporium. Whatever you need, I sell.
He gestures at the stalls around him.
What would you like to buy today?
You own all these stalls?
I do now. I started out with only one stall and eventually branched out, buying out my competitors one by one.
Love your voice, Ramaso. Show me what you have for sale. Oh my. Oh, armor and swords that we can't buy because they're too expensive. Lovely. We don't need any of this. We've got so many stalls and all of them relatively pointless. We won't sell Epsilon. We could never sell Epsilon. Epsilon's such a good kitty. Alright. Come on, Jibbles. I gotta go back in this direction. Why?
Andre's gills. There's no hope.
The artistic quality of the stage's backdrop is best described as enthusiastic. Calandra?
That was a disaster of epic proportions if ever I directed one.
Arms flailing wildly before her, the stage performer shoos the other actors from the set.
A typhoon couldn't have cleared out our audience faster.
What's wrong?
What's wrong? I'll tell you what, everything. My troupe's coming apart at the seams. We're short on cash, we're low on people, and we've run plumb dry on enthusiasm.
She ticks the points on her fingers.
We haven't drawn a decent crowd in more than a fortnight. And it ain't like pirates are hard to please. That's how you know the show really stinks. But I think I know what the problem is. We've got a lack of flair. If only I could hire more talented performers. I just know my play would take off.
I'll help you.
Really? That's great. Then we could...
Do we need extra information? Absolutely not. Abruptly, her eyes narrow and her dark brows furrow with heavy suspicion.
Wait a tick. Why would you help me? What do you get out of this?
I'd really like to see how the play turns out.
With you helping me acquire the right talent, I'd wager it's going to be phenomenal.
Hello.
I'm in desperate need of 2 more performers. A wizard for one, plus any oaf big enough to pose as Aethus.
Okay.
I happen to know a wizard of the finest skill set who already performs here in Dunnage, Tiana at the King's Coffin. But unfortunately, I got no idea of where we might find a suitable Aethus.
I do.
Get me the right people for the parts, and I promise you'll be pleased with your investment. I'll turn us a profit or die trying.
I could have asked more information.
Everything's coming along beautifully on our end. I got a new script I'm drafting up.
I was just too excited to be excited about it. I wanted to press the yeah, let's do it button right away because it's very funny. What's your play about?
Only the biggest thing to hit the dead fire since the Valian Trading Company started hunting us like sea hounds. Everything's coming along beautifully on our end. I got a new script I'm drafting up.
What would you need to improve the play?
A better Aethys, for one. I'm the tallest one in our troop. I'm still not very convincing, even when I bother to dye my skin blue. I'm in desperate need of 2 more performers. I happen to know everything's coming along beautifully on our end.
Very well. Also, I want to point out that these people, these actors, are wearing ships as hats. There you go. Just a nice thing to point out. Well, I know what to do. We need a big oaf. I bet we could find a big oaf and lift his refuge. Come on, my friendly honkers. And my friendly friends. We'll find us a solution for this problem. And we'll get a wizard out of her terrible job. Hey, Barkamy.
Have a pity and toss me a pyre, will you?
How would you feel about playing the part of Aethys on stage?
What? I'm no actor. And besides, I can't barely see nothing as it is.
In this troupe, being a good actor isn't a requirement.
Easy enough. And it pays, don't it? Then count me in.
The laughter booms from his chest sounds like rocks rattling against his ribs.
Turn me in the right direction, and I'll make me way to the Radiant Court.
Gotcha. Back to the King's Coven. I love putting on plays. Why would I not?
Welcome back, patron.
Calandra needs you for a play.
I'd be happy to go back working for her, except I owe Harker over there a good deal of money.
She jerks her head towards the far end of the bar.
Stupid dice went cold at the wrong time. Until I pay him what I owe, 700 pyres, I'm not going anywhere.
I'll see what I can do.
Sure, it's worth a try, I guess. You must really want to see Calandra's play. Well, I won't stop you from helping me out.
What can you tell me about Harker?
You haven't heard the rumours, I take it?
Her voice drops to a raspy whisper.
Some people say he's the Red King.
The infamous pirate? I heard he was lost at sea years ago.
Aye, I'd heard that too. But some folks say he faked his death to escape the wrath of the Valian Republics.
The elf leans closer, conspiratorially, to murmur near your ear.
Those same folks say that Harker was the Red King.
Licking the corner of her mouth, she straightens. She smooths her hair with trembling fingers.
I wouldn't go on asking him about it, if you know what I mean. Harker's got a nasty reputation. A real violent disposition. And besides, people in this port generally don't like others prying into their past.
I wonder if that'll help. Hey, Jacob. Well, he is dressed in all red.
What can I do for you?
Got any fire kelp extract for sale?
Sure do. And at a generously discounted price too. 250 pies.
Alright, I'll take a vial of the extract.
Be careful you don't get any of it in your eyes. Burns like a mother. Oh, burns like you wouldn't believe. Wouldn't wish that sting on anybody. Not even my worst enemy. Actually, yeah, I would.
He chuckles deeply to himself as he hands you the vial of fire kelp extract. I've heard rumors you're the Red King, the infamous pirate.
Infamous to his enemies, famous to his friends.
He narrows his eyes and sizes you up before saying more.
Folks decided to call me the Red King, and I had nothing to do with that. But I didn't tell them to stop neither.
He grins.
See, the Valian Republics drove my Dar out of business. And I repaid them in kind, taking their ships and their treasure. A whole lot of it. Got right tired of ship hunters crawling up my arse every time I went out to sea. So I paid off my crew, scuttled this ship here, and went my merry way. In other words, the Red King is dead. And if you ask me any more about it, you will be too.
What a pay off Tana's debt.
Got to you, did she? The woman can spot a soft-hearted mark from 50 paces. Like a sixth sense or something. Remarkable.
He nods at you conspiratorially, as if he didn't just imply that you were a sucker easily parted from your money. Aloth likes it.
Here's the thing, though. It's more profitable for me to keep her under my thumb, so sweet as your offer is, you can keep your money.
I will kill you, Jacob.
Unless there's something else you need, I think we're done here.
He turns away and begins fiddling with something beneath the bar. He does. You spy a red-handled pistol stuffed into the band of his breeches. If folks hear you're keeping a debtor as a slave, they might not be so keen to gamble here, Savvy.
That's a shrewd observation. Maybe you're not so easy a mark after all.
He rubs at the stubble along his jaw, lost in thought. Then he shrugs and flashes you that too bright grin.
Tierna's free to go.
Thank you.
Endless thanks for taking care of my debt. See you at the play.
Good. Actually, while we're here, I got... No, we just give it to him right away. There's nothing she needs to do. Okay. Well, let's see if we can make this guy bring up a gemstone.
Damn my gut. Just kill me now.
Skin pasty, upper lip beaded with sweat, the sailor sways and moans.
Lost my God's damn soul and stupidity. Andre, save me now.
What do you do here?
Oh, usually I'm a sailor, but lately I've been sick as a dog and no good to anyone.
Rosanella says this should work. Hands trembling, Petra hastily mixes the contents into a wooden mug half filled with water. With a final nervous swallow, he lifts the mug to his lips and downs the concoction. After several moments, nothing happens. And he shakes his head, expression grim.
Oh!
But then he goes white as a sheet. His throat mottles red and his mouth pops open in a little O of surprise.
Oh, God! He's coming out the other end now!
Iron Gut scoops up the vomit-coated gemstone, what looks to be a black pearl the size of a rock, and gives a quick wipe down before thrusting it into your hands.
Oh, now, if you'll excuse me, I need a change of bottoms.
Biting back a curse, he hurries off. I can't believe Shoti leveled up from that. Oh boy. I perhaps feel a little guilty about that whole endeavor. 50% chance to reflect against ranged attacks. Jeez. All attacks that miss have a 50% chance to be reflected. That's pretty good as a passive. But stunning. But also priest spells. Very defensive, that one. Let's do that. Cast it on a group of enemies and take far less damage from it? Yes, please. That's actually pretty useful. It might help keep poor Vela alive.
I can't wait to make some new friends.
Several British-looking thugs emerge from nearby alleys. Oh yeah? You may not be meeting new friends here, Vela. I'm so sorry. Oh, hey, Gollum King. Oh, hey, everybody. Can I interest you in a pearl?
Well, well. If it isn't Arca's new business partner.
Amen.
That's quite a lot of coin you two exchanged.
Who? Never heard of this Harker you're talking about.
Don't bother lying. Several of my men saw you at the King's coffin. Looks like Arca's hiring new muscle and coming out of retirement.
What?
And I can't be having that now, can I?
What are you talking about, Hammond?
Think I'll send him your head. As a reminder to stick to selling grog and flea-infested beds.
Alright. Vela, please don't die. Other than that, you guys are fucked. It's going to be hard to hit everyone unless we all stand perfectly still first, so... Maybe let's open up... Lightning Bolt. You get that one as a passive first. Let's turn that guy into a pig. And then, yeah, I agree. Mind Blaze to start. Piggy! Oh, cute little guy. Oh, he's gone. Alright, bye. Aloth, you're in pretty close, but I think you should still be able to do somewhat like that. Good. One of them immediately moves. God, the tactics here. The tactics on show.
Show 'em how it's done. Let's hire it out.
Bye. Good. Alright, Vela, what do you think of your new friends?
Oh, I got this.
Cool. Let's see, yeah. Grimoire. Some boots that give dexterity. That's good boots. Love some good boots.
Got this.
I just feel like this. I don't know why they bothered. What a waste of their time. And lives. Both of them together. Why cause trouble when you can...
I've noticed you seem to be frequently at odds with others in your order.
Some of my brethren don't understand why I gotta do what I do. But I'm not beholden to them.
I can certainly sympathize.
Well.
Thanks muchly for bringing Taerna back to us. Her storm and weather spells will really strike an atmosphere for the play.
You're welcome.
And now that we've got a real big brute for Aethys, we can put on a proper play.
I'm excited.
Stick around for the performance. I think you'll be plenty pleased.
She spreads her hands as if about to take a bow, but instead she snaps her fingers together and the stage darkens behind her, signaling the start of the show. Chat, you are welcome for this experience. I'm happy to deliver it to you.
Ladies and gentle pirates, and rapscallions too, you are in for the truest of mental treats. Without further ado, I present the Green Menace. Let us begin with our valiant new blood crews.
I
the
love
Lusty Rudder and Fortune's Folly. Two ships adrift at sea for weeks and weeks on a venture most daring, in search of the uncharted islands.
I love our pets and Vela just wandering around. Ooh, the fog is new.
Woe and torture. Months at sea with no treasure to show for it. You sure these uncharted islands exist, Captain? We ain't seen land for days.
Were they easy to find, they'd be called the Chartered Islands, wouldn't they? If you're thinking to mutiny...
Land ho! Land ho! Got a lumpy-looking island coming on the horizon.
Whoa!
That's no island. That be the Green Menace. We're doomed for sure.
Souls and gold and glory, you will give these to me. For I am a god among gods, and a true menace upon the seas. Souls and gold and glory. Blame the dawn stars, for they have summoned me. And now, I must feed.
This will be the end for us, it will. Oh, Andra, take me now.
Blasted amazing!
And that's the story of how Aethys sank a fleet of our best tars. Like the floating hangman, you see the Green Menace coming, you sail the other way.
Yay!
Thank you. Donations and gratuity are greatly appreciated.
I am a patron of the arts.
They love us, do you see? They god's damned loved us thanks to you.
Just Aloth?
Thanks again for your help. We couldn't have done it without you.
Get me a stool and I'd make a perfect Aethys. Land ho! Land ho! Land ho! Hey, Tiana, is this
That
good?
was bloody marvellous, I bet.
Bakrami?
I did it. I remembered my lines.
Good job.
My old captain was a drinker from the day.
Can I borrow a sword? I promise to be careful.
Always he was rail thin.
First thing you notice about this man is the nature of his attire. Loud, and clashing reds and purples, bright as a peacock. On second glance, you see that he's tall and lanky, boyishly handsome in an unkempt way, with a trimmed beard and a friendly smile. He hums a little tune to himself as he watches the passers-by.
My good sir, hello.
He gives you a frightfully cheery wave and beckons you closer.
Whatever might I do for you?
Tell me about yourself.
I'm certain there's no need to tell you, observant as you no doubt are, that I am an actor.
He says the last bit with a flourish and takes an extravagant bow.
Stage, tavern, street corner.
Yep.
They are as much my home as where I lay my head at night. So, I travel Aora, looking for opportunities to share my gifts with the grateful masses, wherever that may lead me.
You make a lot of money doing that?
Oh, goodness, yes, loads of it. I've been known to joke that I'm less a man than I am a walking bank for all the coin that I carry. The common folk do so love an actor. We bring mystery and excitement to their otherwise dreary lives. Yes, you could say we're doing the gods' work.
As he speaks, you notice that the toes of his soft boots are worn thin. A closer inspection reveals that his robes are unraveling at the hems and well patched at the elbows, too. You're broke, aren't you?
How dare you? But you're not wrong, to my great chagrin. Times have been tough of late, what with the giant statues smashing up the place, and few in the Deadfire have coin to spare besides.
And yet, you couldn't join the actual actors over there.
It's quite difficult, you know, living as I do. On occasion, foolish folk will take my act for reality. I've thrice been run out of a town for impersonating a foreign dignitary. Damn fools don't understand the blistering wit of my satire, I tell you.
Uh-huh.
I had to learn to protect myself as a result, though I must admit, what martial skills I've got aren't of use for much more than fighting off wolves or throttling a thief with designs on my satchel. Thank the gods, I hardly ever need to use them. I could talk myself out of nearly anything, you know.
You sure can talk, I'll give you that.
Well, thank you. I must say it's gratifying to be recognized for one's talents. All things being equal, I'd much rather recite a sonnet than swing an axe, but a man's got to make his way in the world any way he can.
Can you teach me what you've learned in your travels as a performer?
I would be honored. But a man needs to make a living, you know. So, for my services, how about 3,000 copper?
Okay, actor. Enhance bluff and streetwise. Here you are.
Fantastic. Let's get to it then.
His trading is idiosyncratic. He starts by describing a character he'd like you to play. A street tough, an embittered soldier, noble in the throes of a tantrum. Then he recites lines to you, asking that you recite them back in the attitude of your character. He then shows you how to use his characters to trick people into giving you what you want. When you show him you've got it, he gives you a wide smile and bids you farewell. You've learned Cole's training.
He wound up with a wooden leg, 20 and a bilious fever.
Look, 3,000 copper for some training and main skills for good old Slam Shadows is totally worth it. But boy, do we have to talk to him a little more. Stealing. Oil paintings, perfect for captains with drab cabins. Dinner set.
Welcome to the treasure trove, sailor.
A strapping godlike blinks between the swollen, crusting tumours lighting her eyes. Her lips crack, weeping a sappy substance as she speaks.
Anything in my trove catches your eye, you let me know. All right.
Alright, show me what you have for sale. A flail? A rapier? I mean, this is pretty good, but I expected art. I guess not. Fine with me? I'm not gonna go through and buy random stuff. Despite appearances, these sacks of luminous adra contain only brightly coloured sand. His gilded armour is ceremonial in nature and no real use in battle. No, I don't think we could successfully steal anything from here. Let's... Oh, nope. If we time it right, we probably could, but let's not. You know, it's asking for trouble.
Be quiet if you can.
I am an actor. I am an actor. I am an actor. I am an actor. No, I am an actor. There's only one more place to visit here, so let's go to the Radiant Beacon. Thanks for bringing me along. The dead fire sure is scary for a little Orlin like me. I am an actor. I am an actor. I am an actor. If an ungodly fog rolls in, you ought to sail away fast. Two-eyed Pim.
Much ado to you, Casita.
The captain flourishes a sweeping bow. When he bends forward, a golden swollen A slips from his collar to dangle on the end of its chain. He tucks it away as he straightens, but not before you notice the etching on its front side. It marks him as the third chair on the Consuelo Mes Casitas. Consueglo.
A word of advice. Guard your back in Dunnage. You have not yet carved a name for yourself or your crew. Yet you choose to swim in a sea of sharks.
We should attack more merchants
bite,
then.
The Consuelo
no.
will not intervene. Elsewise, how might I be of assistance?
Tell me about the Consueglo Mes Casitas.
Yes, our council of captains.
He tips his head towards the semicircle of elaborately ornate chairs aligned on the other side of the room.
There are 7 seats on the Consuelo, each occupied by a high-ranking captain within the Principe. Seat holders convene to vote on a variety of issues concerning the Principe's well-being. To claim a seat, a captain must have substantial backing and sufficient power, both politically and physically. Ferrante, the last Marcheso, holds the highest ranking seat because the most ships in our entire fleet have pledged loyalty to his flag.
Why does this guy have like a vaguely Texan accent? Holds the highest ranked seat.
As you can guess, the Sea Wolf, Aldis, commands the second most numerous fleet of ships. As such, she is the second chair, and I am the third.
He rolls his head on his neck as if to work out a stiff muscle.
Perhaps you would like to attend the proceedings when the Consuelo next convenes. You have my ear, Casita. Of what do you wish to discuss today?
Why do you speak like a Valian? A Texan Valing. And Captain arches the dark brow.
I met Ferrante decades ago. Many years I sailed as his first mate before building my own humble fleet.
With an affected shrug, he sweeps a hand to indicate the room.
When in the Principe, do as the Valians do. Unless, of course, you have no care for tradition or the continued sustainability of our way of life, like some filthy new blood.
Is there someone or someplace I should avoid while in Dunnage?
You may have noticed a divide between old blood and the new, by which I mean those who descended from or otherwise hold old Valia in grand esteem.
This is what the Principi are about. Their whole quests, their themes, all of it. What is this?
And the varied and often uncouth recruits we have since brought into the fold. I assure you, the latter was supremely by necessity. Though perhaps I'm ill-equipped to throw stones. As a casita of some repute, you will be most welcome in the king's coffin. But you should watch yourself throughout the Radiant Court.
Farewell. So I'm not going to show Benwith's coin to see if we can just get a seat. That seems like asking for trouble. Captain Aeldes the Seawolf is inscribed on the back of the chair. Captain Brutal Benwith is inscribed on the back of this chair. Mad Moreno. Captain Ferrante de las Machezo. Captain Two-Eyed Pim. Captain Goldfin Chiara. Captain Mare Trevisilo. Captain Ferrante?
Ah, Watcher. Good. You have arrived.
Chin jutting upward, he grants you a winsome smile. His left cheek dimples as the smile spreads to show teeth.
A little seabird informs me that you have dealt with our mutual problem.
Chiara?
The
Yeah.
scoundrel Benoit.
That makes more sense. Oh, his eyes glint as a fierce grin cuts across his face and his lone dimple deepens.
Gelarde. For this you have my grandest commendation.
He had it coming.
That he did.
Ferrante strokes his fingers down the line of his jaw, eyes downcast in thought.
And as promised, I have prepared for you a fine prize.
With a sweep of his arm, he offers you a magnificent cloak.
However, there is another matter of which we must now speak.
Oh.
I must confess to you a bit of a problem has arisen. One which speaks to your expertise with the supernatural. We've sighted the floating hangman that haunts the Deadfire.
Have we any sketches of it? I wouldn't mind documenting the phenomenon.
A few somewhat crude ones. Not many who encountered the floating hangman live to tell the tale, or otherwise record it.
Okay.
This galleon, what likely remains of the Von Ferus, is a frightful legend.
Meaning iron strength. The Von Ferris is the grand Valian galleon that Darkosi Paladin Lucia Reven used to flee the burning palace when charged to protect the royal family's sword.
We have been losing ships at sea, Amico. And not to those Valera ship-hunting bastards. I believe the floating hangman may be our culprit.
The Von Ferris?
Fortune favors us, as I have procured a survivor from such a recent sinking. You will consider what she has to say.
Head craning abruptly to the side, he barks a loud order.
Come forth, Selenia. Quickly now, or I will run rivers of your lethargic blood.
At that last, he smiles. What is going on? Are we ghost ship hunting? Sun-blistered and raw-boned, the pirate regards you with both a discerning glare. She tongues a chapped bottom lip, but keeps quiet.
Well, spit it out, Selenia, and try not to embarrass me before our guest.
Don't be a dick, Ferrante.
Of course, Captain. It might have pretty hard near the end, but I spit the tale as best as I can.
The pirate touches the spot at the base of her skull and winces. She glances off to the side, eyes black and full of hurt. Ferrante sighs and rubs tiredly between his brows.
Go on, gent. I'm ready as I'm like to get me.
With a shiver, the pirate turns her black button eyes to you. I'll try not to press you to remember more than we absolutely need.
You aren't quite what I expected, Watcher. You're
She wets her lips.
kinder than most.
Selenia pointedly avoids Ferrante's gaze, a grimy hand scrubbing at her mouth.
Saw my old crew slaughtered me, my best mates, and even a few I hated. They weren't but blood and meat in the end.
Gross.
It branded the back of my eyes that moment. High seas, nothing but blue all around. Then, mist so thick you could taste it. Ships sailed from within. Out of nowhere was a hunt, not for loot, but for bodies. The ship, it looked...
She gropes at her hip, but there's nothing there. Fingers fumbling at the air, she bares her teeth.
Rotted. The crew, they were all undead. Couldn't stop them from boarding. Couldn't kill them. Couldn't even fight them in the end.
Tell me about them, the undead.
They were dreadful. Some were clothed, like maybe they'd only recently died. Others weren't more than moving bones. One was different. Her presence was overwhelming. Heavy. Flames burned in the place of her eyes. The crew shambled hard to do her bidding, even the ones who seemed hardly aware.
Lich! Lich!
Figured she was the captain, me.
Alright. She shrugs, gaze going far away.
There is a flag the floating hangman flies. A flag that once heralded the Von Ferus of Old Valia. It belonged to our Darkotsi paladin of some legend, one Lucia Revan.
Lucia Revan.
But Selenia's knowledge is limited in this regard. Let us instead ask her of a subject she may know.
Dun, 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 dun. How were you taken by surprise in the open sea?
Me and my crew were adept. Alert. Always.
Well, clearly not quite.
Weren't no one gonna get the jump on us.
Oh, yeah?
Was some magic foul. Just sudden like, the winds died, the waters fell flat and the air got heavy. They turned sky and the sea both against us.
Alright, fair.
Then this thick fog roiled up at midday. Without a sound, the Spectre ship.
She glides her hand in the air.
Skimmed right out. It was too late. We couldn't outsail it.
When did this happen? She ruffles a hand through her short hair and scowls.
Deny me. Drifted for days, maybe longer. Kept winking in and out after I ran out of drink.
One of mine found her no more than a week ago. Malnourished, dehydrated. The poor girl was scarcely able to speak.
Well, I'm more than able to gabble now, aren't I? Could sail, too. No, you got no reason to keep me.
She flits her hands over the softness of her shirt. Again, her fingers hesitate close to her hip, the fabric crinkled there where a pistol might normally be strapped. A muscle ticks in Ferrante's jaw, but he otherwise ignores her.
Perhaps there is something else you wish to ask of our guest before she departs from us.
How did you survive the attack?
Calling me Craven? Huh, sure, I am.
She snorts. She rubs at the back of her head rough, like she needs it to hurt.
Took a knock-in and I was out for a while. When I came to, they were eating Ganasco, our steward.
Oh no, they were eating gnocchi.
I dropped a dinghy and rode for it. Don't know why they didn't give chase. Don't much care me.
That'll be all. Selenia cuts a glance to Ferrante for confirmation. When he dismissively waves her away, her black eyes narrow and she raises her chin defiant. But then he turns his full gaze to her, suddenly seething, and she shrinks in on herself. Fists shaking at her sides, she reluctantly retreats.
She belongs to Aldis, who undoubtedly will come to claim her soon. But that is a problem for another time.
Ferrante sighs.
One moment, Watcher.
The captain scowls at Selenia's retreating back, a dark anger warming his cheeks. Selenia is loyal to Aldis, neither adhere to the same principles as you. Wonder chases across his face. It lightens the colour of his eyes.
How very clever of you. Indeed, the White Kestrel and her crew were pledged to Aldis.
You just told me that, dude. I don't know why I needed the insight. Something about this part of, like, Dunnage is making me feel like it hasn't had as many editing passes as other parts of the game. I wonder if that trend continues. I hope so. I hope not, to be honest. It's also worth taking an eye at that sort of thing when you're writing your own role-playing games. Because luckily, when you're delivering a tabletop game as a GM, you're doing all these sort of backstory, side quests, like setting information, you can adjust this on the fly. If it doesn't make any sense, you can just say, actually X, and then just have that happen instead. And that's one of the problems you'll find with over-preparing and reading too much of the adventure path ahead or writing too much of your setting or adventure path, because it means you don't have any space to make shit up. You should always give space to, improvise. Always give space to improvise, because then you can make it more. Seeing what that meant for relations, yeah, that makes sense too. He drums his fingers against the blunderbuss strapped to his chest.
However, it is not by virtue of Aldis that Selenia yet lives, and I would have that well remembered. I can be a generous leader, you understand.
And you can be a ruthless one too.
Truly.
He grins, arrogant and dangerous. On his left cheek, the dimple cuts deep. Yeah, 4 ads.
Allow me to cut to the heart of it. Lucia Revan, whose flag flies atop our spectral ship, was a Dakotsi paladin who died more than 200 years ago.
Yeah?
It is my hope that uncovering the details regarding dear Revan's fate in life may illuminate the nature of her undeath and how to defeat her galleon. Unfortunately, the only soul who could possibly shine more light on our situation lies buried deep within Neketaka.
Well, well, well.
One Isir the Berethian, now well rotted, I presume.
Who is this Isir the Berethian?
Regrettably, I know little but this. He was an Adiran warrior priest of Bereth, and a significantly fervent one, if tales are to be believed.
Good thing there's a temple of Bereth in Neketaka.
He chased our Dakotsi to the Deadfire, hunting her to, well, to her death.
She's back, baby.
Shortly after slaughtering our brave paladin, the priest died, possibly of sickness, or perhaps from a festering battle wound.
She won!
He was entombed in honor of his service to Berath, in Neketaka's sacred stair.
Do we know anything more about Lucia Revan?
By all accounts, our Revan was a Darkotsi paladin who sailed to the Deadfire in order to safeguard a royal weapon of Old Valia.
She is the epitome of grand valor, of magnificence, honor, and duty. Living or undead, she strives still to serve her charge.
So she's attacking random ships.
And yet, we know not why, but a Baratheon priest called Izir opposed our Rivan, and fiercely. They fought to the death. Rivans, to be precise, in this very archipelago.
Both.
Along with her life, Rivan lost the sword she had sworn to protect.
He traces a dreary line down his jaw.
It has, lamentably, remained unfindable since. I believe it may be why she searches the seas yet.
I take it you have a plan.
Indeed, I do.
He flashes you a devious grin.
Though I and mine cannot so openly venture into the depths of Neketaka, nor can we commune with the dead. You, Watcher, are adept in both of these areas.
My.
Correct. You must search the Temple of Berath on Neketaka's sacred stair. Izir's tomb within it should contain a chronicle for how and where he slayed our paladin.
Well. I'll see what I can do.
Gelarde, do return when you've any lead that may navigate us to where the floating hangman anchors. I will be waiting.
He nods cordially in dismissal. Well. What a little adventure for us to go on. A cozy, Captain.
And what do we have here?
Ferrante's study. Yeah, absolutely. I'll steal everything in his study.
Take a peek.
You think? Ah, money. Yes, please. Ta-da! I fucking love stealing. See, I thought Two-Eyed Pim was definitely going to be a trainer. That's why I was so excited to talk to him. I wanted to give 3,000 more pyres to just increase our skills by 1. Rust and blood tinge his iron cage and shades of ochre.
I can be quiet if you can.
Holding tab and pressed alt. That was not good. Maybe you lost out on some sound. It's very embarrassing. There are droppings crossed over the iron bands of this cage. What are we doing up here? Like, it's cool that this is a map and there's a small amount of stuff to do.
I'm learning a lot.
But what are we doing up here other than stealing shit? Gusts of wind rise from below with the smell of the beacon's fires. This is a dramatic fight we can have up here at some point. I can be quiet if you can. Sexy.
Kinda hurts.
Okay, if someone's going to say something every time we change maps, we're going to need 30 or 40 times the amount of voice lines we have, please. 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 Alright. Weirdly enough, that's it. We're out of Dunnage. Bye! Are we gonna... Please be quiet, Vela. Just get on the ship. Get on the ship. Get on the ship. We don't have enough money to buy any fancy new items. There are no more quests to pick up or complete here. There are no more trainers to speak to. We've looted not everywhere, but most of the places it's easy to do. So we could do this quest. You go to Takano's Villa. A lot of these aren't too high level, like Velvet Glove and Brass Fist. Go visit Facina again. Find the pirate gang that robbed... Yeah. Lord Admiral Imp. Yeah, we could do some things. The Principi. Alright, let's go. What are we doing? We're just sailing the high seas, my man. My crew, my friendos. My lovely, lovely viewers. Stream friends. Stream friendos. Stream friendars. The farming fields surrounding this village are barren and sunbaked. Its small orchard of koiki trees is dry, their fruit shriveled like raisins. As you approach a village, you find it empty, fine dust and long settled on every surface. Search! Palmstone. Nothing. Tar loaf. Nothing. Fire kelp. Done. Bye. Am I right there? Yeah. Just going on a weird tangent. Oh, Captain Thing. Jesus. Oh, that's the deck of many things. The deck of many things? Approach and identify it. The vessel boasts the sharp angles and flat front of a junk, but it does not fly the colours of Rautai or any other naval power. Its banners identify it as a merchant ship. The craft's hulls appear heavily reinforced, and its gun ports bristle with cannons, but it cuts a non-hostile path through the sea. Sport it. The deck of many things, not only a magic item. Oh, I'm sitting too far out of camera. You can't see me, it's just hair. There you go. Perhaps I'm looking forward to my break in 18 minutes. Shout out to everyone, let them know. We have a break in 18 minutes. Yes, it'll be a lovely time. I'm going to get myself a lovely drink. The deck of many things other than being a magic item.
My fellow captain.
The moon godlike short stature and sharp features mark him as being elven blood, and his accent bears more than a trace of Aderian. He bows slightly at the hip.
Captain Thanik at your service. Allow me to be the first to welcome you aboard my humble vessel. The deck of many things.
The what?
The deck of many things. On account of the many things below the deck.
Okay.
Very clever, I think you'll agree. Below you will find merchants from every corner of Aora, each vending an assortment of wares both rare and unusual.
He gestures toward the hatch to the inner hold. Grinning, he raises a single finger.
Lest you think us easy marks, know that we have bested pirates and monsters of every sea. Cross us, and we'll be adding your shiniest bits and pieces to our inventory, and your bodies to Andra.
Whoops.
But let it not come to that. Please come below, my new friends, and explore what the deck offers.
Time to explore the magnificent deck. The deck of many things was a small bit of DLC added to the game. I think probably third? Yeah, pretty sure. Out of the 3 free DLCs. Anyway, they're not wrong when he says a lot of random merchants.
I see where you're
going. Also some things to steal, but don't recommend it.
Might I interest you in a new cloak? Perhaps gloves of the finest cut. A belt interwoven with incantations.
Adon, welcome, amigo. The plump dwarf bows low, hands outstretched to either side. Seem out of a sailor. How'd you wind up here?
Oh, it shows then. I'm afraid I'm still rather new to this. The slightest squall leaves me green for days. My ancestors, they would laugh me out the door.
He rubs the back of his head.
Back in Velia, I apprenticed to the famed weaver, Selana Mezquinetra. She sent me to accompany a rather important shipment to the Republics. It was to be a grand adventure. Instead, the ship foundered, and only the grace of Andra and the sudden appearance of the deck spared me a sodden grave. That was 2 years ago, I think.
Hilarious, Loxy. Do you know anything else about the deck?
You mean like where it came from? Afraid not, friend. I rather suspect Andra herself of birthing it from the depths to fish out the few things she'd rather not see lost to the sea.
That's interesting. Let me see what you have then.
I will fetch my chalk.
Gloves of the Dungeon Warden. Grant's lockdown. Na-na-na-na. Anyway, cap of the laughingstock. Grant's village fool. The way invites laughter from all around them, granting all friends and foes immunity to resolve afflictions, but also reducing their affliction. Also, it's got bells, so -1 stack. Like, funny, but no. Pretty cool, right? Gloves of the Dungeon Warden. Yeah, very kinky, very lovely indeed. I do like that. Boots, other things, not particularly useful. Mercenary, Captain Thanik. Do you sell anything, buddy?
Finding everything to your liking, Captain.
Thanik smiles, one light shining from his horns. Quite the unusual ship you have here. He pats his desk lovingly.
Isn't it, though? And older than any of us aboard to boot. So Tara keeps the old tub looking like new, more or less. You might have noticed the Engriffin imagery in the beams, or the copper wiring. I suspect the deck, hull, at least, dates back to that ancient fabled empire.
I'm sure.
Not that I'd make any grand claims about its import. Probably just an old merchant craft lucky enough to survive whatever brought Ingworth low.
I will admit, Loxy, that I feel perhaps slightly guilty they haven't written anything in a while. Let alone of some story you've read at some point. Despite my continued enthusiasm for it, I'm afraid my time has been stolen by some other endeavors. One, recovery from heartbreak. Which happens, but it's a long and constant process. And two, slutting it up with some other people. And three, university, for fuck's sake. It still takes up much more time than I expected, and I'd have to drop some other large commitment like streaming or work. I could just stop working, right? Is that a thing? To get a little bit more time. So I do note that I have leave coming up soonish, like from Anzac Day to, Easter to Anzac Day. And maybe I'll be able to settle into some more writing. I would like to continue, that's for sure. How did you come to be the captain of the deck?
Not just the decks, but the hull and the masts too.
His laughter rings like a bell. Laugh politely.
I came to Adir a century gone by now and boarded the deck as a wee lad. A stowaway, even. Might have thrown me overboard, the old captain, were it not for the shine.
It taps the luminous horns projecting from the scalp. Well, Loxy, that does sound good. You can make demands if you want, it's not going to speed me up, I'm afraid. There's only a limited amount of hours in the day, and I like to spend many of them gallivanting. And annoying my wife. Good fun. Good fun. I encourage everyone to do the same. What's up, sausage? Being complained at by a dog. Come here. No, she's leading me somewhere. Everyone, we're going to take an early break because the dog wants something and we're close to a break time. So I'll see you in 10 minutes, maybe 10, 12 minutes or so. Roughly 8:30, okay? If the dog needs something, she's a living being, she can't handle it herself. I've got to help. Sorry, everybody. Back soon. Mwah. press that, press live stream. Hello. Ladies and gents, I'm actually really, really tired. I stood up and kind of blacked out a little bit. Now, that happens to me because I'm on a couple of low blood pressure medications. Not for low blood pressure, they just make it happen. But then I just realized how tired I was and thought it would just be a bad thing to push through for no reason. While I do appreciate all of you from tuning in and watching and having a good time, and especially our resubs from Comrade and Larksy tonight, thank you very much. I think I gotta call it here early. End it at 8:30 and have a short episode tonight. We'll be back again soon. Now, I'm also thinking of shaking up Pillars Eternity 2 with a return to a Stardew Valley stream with our friends. I will give you more updates when I know more about who is returning when, probably Monday nights. Just have a little break because Pillars 2 is very dense and very long, and maybe we should have some fun mess about time in between our big world-changing plot events. In the meantime, this Jimbles and... Come on, Doug. Come on. This little marvel will be taking a bit of an evening to rest, and I will see you again very soon, probably Wednesday night, for some more Final Fantasy. But I'm going to take this dog's advice and sleep for the evening, even if she doesn't look super sleepy right now. Wait, what? Loxy says? Oh, I'll wait for you to ask. You came back from break? I came back from break. Okay. And Jibbles is doing a farewell.
Few
Yes.
sailors go seeking Androsiah.
Marvel.
Was the first time my being godlike had caused me aught but suffering.
Why did you press something? It's not easy being God's touched.
You don't know the half of it, friend.
Okay, I should be going.
Safe travels.
Yeah, Luxie, I'm very, very tired. I'm not sure why, but I kind of stood up and realized that I'm a little dizzy and not feeling super great. And just tired. I mean, I got up slightly.
I'm safe with you, Captain. I just know it is all.
Thank you, Vela. I got up earlier than usual today, but it shouldn't be this bad. And I don't think it would be a good idea to push through. Despite how much I enjoy having all of your presence and having a good time, I gotta rest, that's all. I will see you Wednesday night for more Final Fantasy this week. I don't think there'll anything come up unless I'm actually sick. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take a nap, or I'm just gonna do something that's less effort, because I love being on and I love playing the Persona, but when I get up to have a snack or a break and pour myself a drink, which is just Macallan again, yes please, I realize I shouldn't push through, and that is a shame. I will see you all again soon, and thank you very much for your time. Especially thank you for the resubs today from Comrade and Luxie.
Thanks
It
for
is really
letting me
good.
tag along. The dead fire is awfully big for this little Orlin.
And I will make sure that those subscriptions are worthwhile. Otherwise, I will see you again on Wednesday night for Final Fantasy, and remember to tell the people you love that you love them very much, okay? Oh my god. Thanks for letting you tag along, Captain. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Currently, the dog is annoyed at me because she went outside the back, and I waited to let her back in, and she had a crab apple in her mouth. And Marvel, I'm not going to let you eat a whole crab apple. It's not good for you. And now that she wants to sleep, she can't because the cat's on her bed.